Hi, my name is Loren Pulitzer with Healing Through Nutrition, and today I'll be making a stuffed acorn squash as a vegan option for your holiday meal. Okay, so to get started on our stuffed acorn squash, we're going to first cut the bottom off so that I have something flat to work with. You're going to want to use a really sharp knife and a big knife because it's very hard before it gets cooked. Ooh. So now I have this to work with. So we're going to want to, since we're stuffing the acorn squash, we're going to cut out the top, okay? So I insert the knife until it goes down and then pull it back up. Just like this. And I go all the way around the entire squash. This whole process will take 4 to 5 minutes, depending on how good your knives are and how strong you are. Oh, something that's really important is to get your oven preheated. You can preheat your oven to 375, and it's really important that when the food goes in there, that the oven is hot and ready. The squash does take about 45 to 50 minutes to cook, and you want to make sure that the oven is all ready and hot. There we go. So there's the top off. And now I'm going to scoop out all of the seeds. And you'll see how beautiful the inside is. And we're going to get all of the seeds out, and then we're going to put it in the oven. So everything is out of the squash. I'm gonna rinse my hands. I'm gonna take a baking sheet and I'm gonna put this right on the baking sheet. I like to put some water in the baking sheet as a way to help keep the squash moist, and it also speeds up the cooking process a little bit. But I'm gonna do that once it's in the oven. So the oven is at 375. Put this in. And take this measuring cup, because it has a little spout. It will be easier for the water to pour. And then I just pour the water in there. And close. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna partially bake that, because we're gonna make a stuffing and then put it back. So we're gonna put that in there for 30 minutes. And while that's cooking, we're gonna make the stuffing. The stuffing today is gonna be with red quinoa, really nice. Also, I picked quinoa as opposed to rice because it is very high in protein. So if you're vegan and you're looking for some protein, we'll pick that. So we're gonna cook the quinoa. So you take a cup of quinoa. And it's 2 to 1, so then we're gonna put 2 cups of water. I also pick quinoa because it's super easy to make. One. And 2. This goes on the stove, and you're gonna bring it to a boil, and then you're gonna simmer it. It takes about 15 minutes to cook in total, really easy. Okay, so while that's cooking, we're gonna make the rest of the filling. Okay, I'll have to go in the fridge. I have cashews soaking, and I'm gonna rinse them in a colander. Just like that. And then I have this really awesome little personal blender. You can do it if you're gonna make a lot of cashew cream, which I do. I use my food processor, but because I only have a little bit, I'm gonna do it right in my blender. So I add the cashews, the soaked cashews, in the blender. Also, this is a way that you can get some more protein, even though the quinoa is high in protein. You can get some more protein, and also, I think that's it. I'm gonna put a little water in here just to help the blending process. Attach that, make sure that's tight. Just tip it over. Now we're gonna blend. All right, cashew cream. You'll see it's all blended up, and it's really amazing how it really provides that creamy texture that I know vegans miss when they don't eat cheese. Put it in the bowl. I'm not sure if I said this before, but it was a cup of cashews. And also we're gonna add the pumpkin seeds. These are raw. They will get a little heated up when this all gets back in the oven, but raw pumpkin seeds are a very good source of iron. I'm gonna do a 1/4 cup right in there. And I have a little bit less than a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. I have 2 teaspoons of basil. Usually I would use fresh basil, but I don't have any right now, so I'm using dried. And then some fresh herbs that I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna put the bowl aside. I have sage here, and sage is really a seasonal flavor. It's used in stuffing, and it provides a really deep, earthy flavor. And so I take the sage and I roll it up and slice. Okay, put those aside. Then I have rosemary. Just gonna take the rosemary right off of the branch. And just give those a little bit of just cut them up. They can be rough, but we don't want the big long pieces because that wouldn't be very good to taste. Again, I wish that you could smell how amazing all these fresh herbs smell. Okay, and then chives. Sometimes with this recipe, I saute some onions and mix them in, but I had these fresh chives, and the chives provide the same kind of onion flavor, but we're not gonna cook them, we're just gonna cut them up raw. The way to cut them, you can just fold them in half, and then also cut really small. And the chives really give it an extra flavor. I don't know if you've noticed yet, I haven't put salt in. I'm not gonna put salt in because I don't cook with salt for a variety of reasons. One is I think that when you put a lot of salt in things, you actually don't get to taste the flavor of the food. And also a lot of people that I cook for can't have salt. So all of my recipes do not have salt except for guacamole, because you need a little salt in guacamole. But all these fresh herbs really give you flavor. You don't need the salt. So, gonna mix this all together. Get everything incorporated. And then we're gonna get the quinoa, which is ready now. You know, ooh, steam. You know that the quinoa is finished when it's sort of the little tails open up. When you first cook the quinoa, they're really tiny, and then as it cooks and it's ready to eat, they expand, and they look just like this. So now I'm going to put the quinoa in. You don't have to wait for it to cool. Now we're going to mix this all together. The red quinoa is really so beautiful. And like I said, the cashew cheese really is going to provide that cheesy texture for vegans that are missing that, which seems to be the consensus among vegans. That's the biggest thing they miss, is that cheesiness. All right, so now it's all mixed together, and I'm going to take the acorn squash out and we're going to stuff it. All right. So since we're gonna put it back in the oven, you don't have to cook the acorn squash all the way. It's been in for about 30 minutes, and when you touch it, it's gonna give a little bit. It's not gonna be totally done. And also, you could stick a knife or fork in it and tell that there's a little bit of give, okay? Now, we're gonna take the filling. Oh, I'm gonna use a spoon. Take the filling and fill it, really pack it in there, really fill it. This really makes a beautiful presentation. I would say this whole acorn squash actually can serve 4 people. So it could be like, instead of having your turkey in the middle of the table, you can have this beautiful acorn squash in the middle of the table as the main dish. And I would serve with this, definitely something green. You can do roasted kale, which would be amazing, and also very, very easy. So I'm really patting this down to make sure it gets really, you want it to be really packed in there and really stuffed. And then we're gonna pack it so that it's sort of overflowing. All right, that's looking good. Oh, it smells good. I really wish you guys could smell this. Okay, so I'm gonna put it back in the oven. The water that I put on the pan before evaporated, so I'm gonna put more water in once I put it back in the oven. Also, I had the temperature at 375, and I'm gonna lower it down to 350. Back in. Get some more water. Provide a little steam. Okay, and that's gonna go in, and that's gonna cook for another 20 to 25 minutes. You're just gonna wanna check to make sure that it's totally soft and ready to be eaten. And you can serve it immediately, okay? So it's been about 25 minutes and the acorn squash is done. I'm gonna take it out and show you what to do with it. It's just beautiful. The top, the quinoa, is a little bit crunchy, but the quinoa inside is going to be really moist. So, put it on the serving dish. And the way that I would serve it, I would serve it just like this whole, and then when you're going to cut it, you can cut it right in half. Use, again, a nice big knife, cut in half, and then each guest could have a nice big piece. And it really presents like you would have a piece of meat on your plate. And I guarantee even your meat eaters will love and enjoy this vegan Maine holiday dish. I'm Loren Pulitzer with Healing Through Nutrition. Thanks for watching.